Are you trying to choose the perfect studio monitors for your setup? I've got the top 7 studio monitors for your music studio right here. Bestsellers, the ones used by top artists, and even a few surprises. Let's get started. This is the Kali LP6 V2, the latest version of Kali's most popular studio monitor. Now, these didn't wow me when I first listened to them, but after using them for a while, I've become a fan. Clarity is good and the low end is decent too. All the monitors I'm comparing are around the 5-inch woofer size, which means sub-frequencies in bass may be a bit lacking. But Kali has the largest woofer in this roundup and still manages to keep the price on par with the rest. The LP6 has connections for XLR, TRS, and RCA. Not all monitors here have the RCA, so if you need that, you've got it here. You also have dip switches to adjust the boundary compensation, so you can EQ the speaker depending on the placement, and it also has switches for high and low frequency trim. That's pretty cool, but wait till you see the KRKs. These are front ported, which means they're a good choice if you're placing them against a wall. The bass won't interact with the wall as much. So as far as sound, are these flat, neutral, honest speakers? Will they translate well to other listening environments like your car? Yes, they are. And they're flat without being tiring on your ears. That said, sometimes that uncomfortable listening experience is exactly what we need when mixing or mastering, because it just makes for a better final song. The Kalis didn't wow me in any category, but they're one of the best at striking a balance between neutral and pleasant listening. These are great for any genre of music, and side note, if you pair these with the Kali subwoofer, things get to a whole new level. Seriously. The LP6s are $199 each, which is a good price point, but you may save some money with some other monitors later in the video. All right, these white cones are iconic, but why? Let's look at the Yamaha HS5s next. Now, all these monitors are similar in size and price, but I'm also going to talk about some smaller options because they're becoming so popular. These are all active monitors, so you can connect them directly to the output of your audio interface and you're good to go. No need for a separate amp. The HS5s are a nod to the legendary NS10 monitors that dominated studios in the 80s and 90s. Now, we haven't talked about soundstage and stereo image yet. This is where the Yamaha HS5s really shine. These monitors create a nice wide space, and it's easier to pick out different instruments where they're placed in your mix. The HS5s are rear ported, which is supposed to improve the bass, but they still lack a bit in the low end, which is the same issue with the old NS10s. And like the old NS10s, these don't necessarily sound good. They're not meant to. They're designed to be honest and unforgiving. But compared to the old NS10s, these aren't as fatiguing. The clarity in the mids and highs is excellent too, which makes them great for detailed work on vocals and instruments. So if you're mixing vocals, you may really like these. If you're looking for a monitor that will show all the flaws in your mix, helping you create better, more translatable tracks, the HS5s are a solid choice, but they might be a bit tiring on your ears during long listening sessions. Keep that in mind when making your choice. By the way, I got many of these studio monitors from Guitar Center. You'll find lots of gear for your studio on their website, and you can check out these monitors in person at a Guitar Center near you. You'll find all these monitors in stock on their website. I'll link the best prices below. All right, the Presonus Eris Studio 5s are the newest studio monitors in this list, and these are actually special to me. I started this YouTube channel mixing on the Eris 4.5s and was really happy with them for a long time. Presonus has updated the look of these monitors a bit, and on the back, we have volume for each individual monitor, EQ controls for low cut, mids, and highs, and a switch for acoustic space. You also have the RCA connection, but honestly, I prefer using the balanced connections instead. In terms of sound, the Eris Studio 5 offers a relatively flat response with a slight boost in the low mids that can add warmth to your mixes. The highs are clear enough, and all this makes for comfortable, long listening sessions. But I did find that those low and mids sometimes took over the overall clarity, and it was a bit hard to place my sound in a mix compared to the Yamahas. Now, if you're looking for a good deal, I find that Eris Studio monitors are frequently on sale, so if price matters, you might want to keep an eye out for deals on this or even the previous model. Now, let's talk about the Atom T5V. Atom Audio is known for their unique ribbon tweeter design, and the T5V brings the same tech in their much more expensive speakers to a budget price point. Now, that standout feature, the ribbon tweeter, gives you an excellent high-frequency detail and a wide sweet spot. And the control dispersion is supposed to help minimize room reflections. In terms of connections, you've got XLR and RCA in the back. There's also a high shelf and low shelf filter to help you tune your speakers to your room. In my listening tests, the T5V really stood out for its stereo imaging and clear high end. I really like mixing vocals with these, but the bass response isn't as good as other monitors in this list, so you might want to consider a sub for bass-heavy genres. These are larger, actually deeper than some of the competitors, so make sure you have the desk space for them. And hey, if you need something smaller from Atom, stay tuned because these might be just what you need. By the way, if you're finding this information interesting or useful, could you help me out by hitting the subscribe button? It makes a huge difference in the content and value I bring to you. So Yamaha has the white cones and KRK has the yellow ones. These are the Rokit 5 G5s. The yellow KRK cones have been a staple in EDM and hip-hop studios for years. On the back, you've got an XLR/1/4-inch connection and boom, a screen to manage your EQ and room compensation settings. This is a nice feature and makes this monitor seem more premium than others. The G5 version here brings some interesting features to the table. First, you've got 3 voicing modes: mix, focus, and create. These preset EQ curves can be useful for different stages of your production process. Mix is for neutral listening, focus is for mid-range listening, and create is when you're working on something new and need that inspiring sound. It's the most pleasant and lifts the lows and highs a bit. Very nice. KRKs are known for their punchy extended bass response, and this can be a double-edged sword. It's great for certain genres like hip-hop or EDM, but may be misleading for others. But in my listening sessions, I don't think the bass is as pronounced as some people think. So the hype may just be that. The Rokit 5 had a very engaging, fun sound, and I can see why producers like creating with them. However, if you're looking for the flattest, most neutral response, you might want to look elsewhere. Maybe the Calis that had a good balance of everything. By the way, my studio is acoustically treated, but not perfect, which is probably similar to your situation. I'm running all these monitors directly out of the brand new Universal Audio Apollo Gen 2 audio interface. Apollos are a popular interface that many people own and gives me a pretty good reference of what you might be listening to. It also has built-in monitor correction with SonarWorks, so you'll be able to correct some of the imperfections in your studio sound. It's worth checking out for sure. Next up is the JBL 305P Mark II. These monitors have been around for a while, and you can usually find an excellent price for them, many days cheaper than other monitors in this list. But are they any good? Pleasant is the best way to describe them, but maybe not as neutral as the others. The standout feature is JBL's Image Control Waveguide. This is supposed to provide a good soundstage and a wide sweet spot. This means you get a clear stereo image even if you're not sitting in the perfect centered position. In terms of sound, the bass is punchy and defined, and the overall sound is great for long listening sessions. One thing to note, some users have reported issues with hiss or self-noise, particularly when no audio is playing. This seems to vary unit to unit, so it's worth checking if you decide to go with these. The clarity across the entire spectrum makes them pretty good for any genre. However, like many speakers in this class, there might be some distortion at very high volumes, but for normal studio use, they perform just fine. If you're looking for something inexpensive, make sure you check these out. Last but not least, we have the Harbinger SM505. Not as well known, but these offer some unique features at a budget price. Check it out. 3 buttons in the front give you 3 reference modes, so you can check your mix with 3 different EQ settings. This can be handy if you're using these in different environments or want to quickly check how your mix translates. Another thing it has that you won't find on other monitors is Bluetooth connectivity. This can be useful for quickly referencing your mix against some Spotify tracks or for casual listening, but Bluetooth causes latency, which may not be great while producing music. In terms of sound, the SM505 offers a decent performance, but it lacks some definition compared to others like the HS5s. The mids and highs are clear, but not as refined. These are good monitors if you're using your computer for multiple tasks. You'll have a decent set of studio monitors, Bluetooth for when you need that, and the ability to change up the EQ depending on what you're doing. Alright, let's talk about these. These are pretty small compared to the other speakers in this list. These are the IK Multimedia iLoud Micros, and these are the Adam Audio D3Vs. These are both from companies that make studio monitors, and actually, Adam calls these small speakers studio monitors. So who are these for? Well, if space is a major issue for you, these might be the best you can find. And they're also useful if you need a pair of good reference speakers when traveling. Both of these sound good for their size, but I have to give the edge to Adam Audio. They actually sound bigger than they look. Now, you think that smaller size means cheaper price, right? But these are actually still a bit on the pricey side. $350 for the IKs and $300 for the Adams. You can get bigger monitors for the same price or cheaper. And if you have the space, I really suggest you do. You'll be missing the bass with something this small, but there's a third contender here. The Kali Ultra Near Field monitors. These come at a higher price, but add a powered sub in the package. If Ultra Near Field is what you're going for, check out my video to learn more about them. So which of these monitors is right for you? Well, it depends on your needs, your room, and your personal preference. If you're after the flattest, most neutral response, the Yamaha HS5s and the Kali LP6s are excellent. They'll let you hear an honest mix, which is really important for creating tracks that translate well. If your priority is clarity and detail, especially in the high end, the Adam T5V is really great with its ribbon tweeter design. If you're working in a challenging room, the KRK Rokit 5s with the built-in voicing modes could be a game changer. And if you're on a tight budget, the JBL, Presonus, and Harbingers offer good value. Remember, the best studio monitors are the ones you know well. Whichever you choose, spend time listening and mixing on them. Learning how to mix on any studio monitor you choose would be far more valuable than any technical spec. So what would I choose for me? Well, I would choose the Kali LP6. It's comfortable for long listening even when I edit videos like these, and it translates pretty well. Of course, this is my preference, but what you choose will depend on what type of music you make, what you want to focus on, so feel free to watch through the video again to make your final decision. Check the links below for the best current prices, and if you're looking for the best headphones and audio interfaces available today, watch my videos right here. Keep making the music you love. I'll see you soon.